Welcome to assignment 4.1, in which we are going to create a couple of maps, comparison maps between municipal tax compositions. So to get started, let's go to our catalog. So I'm going to browse to my GIS tutorial folder in under answers in assignment 4 folder. I'm going to create a new, right click and say file new personal geodatabase, in which I'm gonna name it city financials, and I'm gonna do a couple of imports. One is for feature class. I'm gonna of course I'm gonna go to my GIS tutorial folder, in which I have all my datasets ready in Allegheny County. I'm gonna use the municipalities first to add it, in which I'm gonna rename it as municipalities. Click OK, and that's being imported into the geo database, and right click and say import another feature class. Now this time I'm gonna import rivers, use the same name, and the last step is to import a table. But the book says you have to export a table into your DBF because it's an Excel file, but he's actually talking about an older version of GIS in which you couldn't import Excel files, but now we can actually import Excel files. So I'm gonna open the revenue XLS, which is the Excel file, and add the table and rename it as revenue and import it into the database. So now I have all my datasets ready. So I'm going to go back to my ArcMap and click on add, and go to my answers folder, add my 3 layers. As you can observe, you're actually defaulted to the source tab, but because revenue is not, it's not a GIS shapefile, it's a table, so you can't see it in the display tab. That's why you are being taken into the source tab by default. So I'm gonna make some basic changes here, and the first thing is to join the municipalities to the revenue database. So I'm gonna open the two tables, and as you can see here, the main the primary key field is the name field. So I'm gonna use these fields to actually join. So how I'm gonna do that is we can actually close these tables. Right click on municipalities shapefile, click to go to join, click on join, and I use the name as the primary, the field based on which you are gonna join, and select the same field in the revenue table also, and I'm gonna keep all the records and click on OK. So now that the data is joined, I'm gonna copy. Actually, I'm gonna go to the properties, go to quantities, graduated colors. I'm gonna use the default colors and create a name, a thematic map for real estate taxes as a percentage of total taxes, but this is just a fraction. So I'm gonna use the format labels, and I use it, convert it into a percentage, and format the number of decimal places to just 2, and actually we need to change this to quantile. I'm going to use the quantile breaks, since this is not rounded off properly. I'm going to round it to 20, 25, 30. I'm going to use 40 here, and 57. That looks alright to me, and click on OK. Actually, we should have done it for the tax. So I'm gonna go back, format labels, percentage, format actually classify them as quantile, and this is gonna be 50, 60, 65, 70 and 89. That's fine. Gonna use those color classifications. So now we have the base setup, but we need to label our municipalities. So I'm going to go to the labels tab and make sure the labels are turned on, and use my short name, and use just you know the basics, right? Adding a halo and stuff. I'm gonna do those, and in the properties I'm gonna say add a buffer of 1 so that it's not too crowded. So that's that. The next step is to actually create a layout. But the layout is not just for one map, so it's actually for 2 maps. So I'm gonna create create some guides and actually move things around so that they fit. So after we actually create that, I'm gonna right click and say copy on the data frame, and I'm gonna say file paste. So now, so that I have 2 data frames with the same data, because it's essentially the same data. And I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna create some more guides, align this, so in the second data frame we need to change the theme from real estate taxes to actually income taxes. So I'm gonna do the same formatting labels, in which I'm gonna change it to percentage and change the number of decimal places to 2, and also use the quantile definition here, and go with 20, 25, 30, 40, and the last one I'm gonna leave it alone and change the colors a touch, and that's that. So the next step is to actually include all the map elements, and I'm gonna insert a title, insert a north arrow, insert a legend. I'm just gonna use the municipalities, go with the defaults. So we just created a legend for data frame 2, but we also need to create a legend for data frame 1. So I'm gonna click on that, select that data frame, and select insert and insert legend. So I'm gonna take out reverse and go with the defaults, and so that's our map. If you want, you can take out the legend. Everybody knows that's a legend, right? And rename few things, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move it to the bottom and add a map title and so on and so forth. I'm gonna rename my municipality, the first data frame, as percentage of taxes that are real estate, and take out the subheading, and I'll do the same for the second data frame. And so that, just to give it a little more explanation, and if you think that's not, you can't fit that in one line, I'm gonna come down and actually do that so that it all fits into one line. And yeah, export this map as actually file save as, and then save it as assignment for 1, and file export as a JPEG. Ta-da, it is done. So now all you need to do is upload this into the Blackboard, and that's for one. Thanks.